1 year ago, I signed this very offer letter here as a platform SRE engineer, site reliability engineer at Sky. This was after I've made a transition, after I've made a jump from oil and gas industry to site reliability engineering at Sky. And in this video, I explained exactly how I did this. I worked for TotalEnergies Nigeria Limited for over a decade as a senior production operator. During that period, I was always tasked with the responsibility of keeping the oil and gas infrastructure, which cost billions of dollars, running, as we do not want production to go down, because when production goes down, it means we are losing a lot of money that can run into millions and millions of dollars. So I was tasked with that responsibility, and that actually equipped me to be the site reliability engineer. While working at TotalEnergies, I always knew I wanted something different. I've always loved the tech industry. That's why at uni, I studied electrical electronics engineering. It was the closest thing to tech. And then while I was choosing a major, I took telecom and electronics, and I saw the tech industry changing. I saw the opportunities of remote working opportunities, better work-life balance, and then, to be honest, better career prospect. So yeah, it was no brainer. I had to make the decision. But the biggest challenge I had was, how do you break into tech without having a computer science degree? And here is exactly what I did. First, I had to educate myself of what's going on in the industry. So I had to consume anything I see about tech. I followed all tech influencers on all social media, on YouTube. I followed that channel on Twitter Spaces. I joined Twitter Spaces, and then on Instagram, on Snapchat, everywhere. Did this just to get acquainted and know what's going on in the industry. I invested into proper training. First off, I'm going to talk about the trainings I had. I invested into bootcamps. The first bootcamp I invested into was Edureka. As you can see it here, it was their postgraduate program in DevOps. And in here, the course covered DevOps fundamentals, source code management key, talked about Jenkins, talked about Ansible, then we learned about Docker, we learned about Kubernetes, AWS, and then at the end of the training, we had an industry grade project to complete. Is a criteria for you to graduate out of the training. So I did this and I learned so much. I covered all the basics I needed in the industry, and then I had to take it to the next level. For me to get the next level, I enrolled on a second bootcamp, and this time around, I enrolled in Level Up in Tech, and this, I can tell you right now, was not an easy bootcamp. It was a 6 months bootcamp. I remember I was working full time. I was still going offshores, working in the oil and gas industry while I was doing this training. It was a 6 months training. The way the training is configured in such a way that every week we complete an industry grade project. And also the coaches, have coaches in the training. These are coaches with real world experience. These are experts in the tech industry. They have their day jobs and they bring that experience into the training. There was a good community in the training. We learned so much from other students. These stand-ups, daily stand-ups in this training, we talk about what we're doing on a daily basis, just like it's done in the real industry. And then the courses we cover were similar to the ones in Edureka, which was server orchestration, AWS, cloud, infrastructure as code, CI/CD, scripting, and containerization. So I completed these 2 trainings. At the end of these trainings, I did a lot of real-world hands-on projects. And here they are. This is my Medium account. If you go there, you'll see I completed about 25 projects altogether. So these projects were very, very helpful during my interviews, because I had something you can present to hiring managers, that you have actually done something hands-on, These are very important. And lastly, I am going to talk about the certifications. So at Level Up in Tech, some of the criteria for you to actually graduate is that you must be certified. So I was able to get my AWS Certified Developer Associate, Edureka Certified Terraform Associate, LPI Essential, that's Linux. And it was very, very helpful for all these certifications, because they force you to do the things. Usually it will be difficult for me to go ahead and sit for these certifications, but they teach you and they coach you to make sure you are ready for the job. And again, they help optimize your LinkedIn, and they do interview preps before you go for interview. So it's really all in one package, and it's really helpful. Lastly, I had to look for a job. So I job hunted for over 6 months, had a lot of rejections, applied for a lot of jobs, applied for a lot of interviews, did a lot of mock interviews. And yeah, I'm going to make a separate video just covering the job application and everything that's related to finding a job. I don't want to make this video too long. So yeah, and like I said, Level Up in Tech played a major role in this because they did mock interviews on a weekly basis for us to get us really prepared for interviews out there. If you're planning to switch to tech just like I did, or you're already in tech, if I were you, I will subscribe to this channel, because in here I am going to be raising the bar. I'm going to be sharing these experiences which I've got in the field. And again, I will be ending this video here. Next week, I'm going to be explaining the exact skills that got me hired. There's something in particular you really want to know, you can ask your questions in the comments, and I'm going to make sure I cover them in the next video. Thank you guys, and bye.